So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about moving to Alaska, but one thing you're probably thinking in the back of your head is, would moving to Alaska be a mistake for me? Well, today I'm going to be really breaking down some things that you need to think about, and that's going to give you a good idea of whether or not moving to Alaska would be a mistake for you. Well, my name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska with Keller Realty, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today we're going to be talking about the top signs of what it looks like that you're probably going to make a mistake if you decide to move to Alaska. And by the way, none of these things mean that Alaska is not a great place to visit for you, but being a great place to visit and a great place to live are going to be two separate things. So we're going to be talking about things that would mean, this might be a mistake for you, and these are just generalities. So not really anything specifically that's going to just disqualify you, I would say, from you making that decision. So before we get started though, do make sure you give this video a like, do subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let's go and jump into today's video. The first thing on the list here is going to be, if you're not outdoorsy, then Alaska might not be a great place for you if you're thinking about living here. Alaska really is the mecca for anything outdoors related, like hunting, hiking, fishing, camping, all this stuff. This is really what Alaska excels in, and this is going to be what makes us so unique and makes us such a good value proposition for those of you out there who are more outdoors oriented. If you're not outdoors oriented, it's going to be kind of hard for you to vibe with the tribe up here. There's certainly people who are here who don't particularly enjoy everything that the outdoors have to offer. But at least even if they don't necessarily go out and do everything, they certainly have an appreciation and like doing it some of the time. If you're not outdoorsy at all, it might be a great place to visit. Not sure you're really going to like living up here long term though. So just something to think about. The next thing I would say, if you do not like hunting or fishing, again, this might not be the best fit for you, just because that's really kind of what everyone's into up here. Full disclosure, I've not gone hunting up here yet. I'm definitely in the process of doing that though. So if you know someone looking to teach anybody for hunting the game up here, let's do it. I've done, hunted in other states, not here. If you're not into fishing, then that could be a problem too. I personally do not really enjoy sport fishing very much. Dip netting though, that is the way to do it, because you go out there one afternoon and catch enough salmon for yourself for a year. So that's pretty awesome. But if you just absolutely hate even doing that, then you might be missing one of the bigger points of living up here in Alaska. Number 3, if you really need kind of that metropolitan feel, like something's always happening, there's always another activity, another concert, another big event right around the corner, Alaska might not be the place for you. We certainly do have a lot of events and things going on, but very rarely do we get the big name people coming up here. Very rarely are you going to get a concert for, I don't know, Eminem, or I don't know, pick whatever big name is out there now. Cardi B, I guess was it Cardi D or Cardi B? I don't care. Either way, you're probably not going to be getting those big name people up here. So if you really need kind of that metropolitan feel to it of wherever you're at, Alaska might not be a great fit. Okay, now the fourth thing, and this one is really important, okay, really important. If you are not ready to plug into a community, and that can be on a hobby, a church, a school, whatever it is, if you're not ready to really plug into something up here where you're kind of in an interacting social setting, Alaska might end up to be kind of a negative thing for you. And the reason for that is during the winter time, it's going to be dark. For some people, it gets really depressing. And if you are isolated already to where you're not leaning into community, then it's going to be very tough for you. And I know a lot of people, they don't really think of themselves as suffering from seasonal depression or any of these other things that can arise during the winter months. Unfortunately, it's something you really don't know about until you're actually up here. But just from my experience with kind of dealing with that, a big part of it is just leaning into community, leaning into those relationships, and really kind of developing those. So when wintertime comes around, you kind of have those relationships developed, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to make the adjustment. So if you're not ready to socialize at all, then it's going to be a struggle during the wintertime. Could be a struggle during the wintertime. Might be I might just be off my rocker here, but that would be what I would expect. But let's go and take a break here real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a bit, you know, got a podcast called The Alaskan Journey. We interview people who've lived up here and kind of talked about their experiences, both people who've lived here for a long time and for the people who've recently moved up. And we've gotten tips and tricks from everybody talking about what it's like. So do make sure you go check that podcast out. It's going to be in the description section down below. And also, if you're wanting to move up here, feel free to reach out to me on my website to get a free copy of my relocation guide for the people who are planning on moving up here. So just make sure you put relocation guide into the little message box there so I know what in the world to send you. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some more things that might be an indication that moving to Alaska would be a mistake for you. Now, the fifth sign that Alaska might be a mistake for you is if your lifestyle and your finances are out of alignment. So if you are coming up here and you say that your finances, you don't have to be like extremely rich or anything to move up here, but if your finances are at this level and your lifestyle is at this level, that's going to be a problem. So you need to make sure that you really decide what kind of lifestyle you're going to be living. I'm going to be really frugal and we're only going to eat out like about once a week or something like that. And you need to make sure that that's really dialed in and it's in alignment with what your finances are. So that's just my 2 cents there. Number 6, if you hate the cold and hate the darkness, Alaska might be a mistake for you. On the flip side of that though, if you hate the round-the-clock light during the summertime, conversely, Alaska might not be a great pick for you either, because we do have these big seasonal swings in either direction. So, you really need to make sure that wherever it is that you're going to be moving up here, you kind of understand how much sunlight, how much darkness there's going to be during the winter solstice and during the summer solstice as well. I know everybody focuses on the darkness during the wintertime, and that's important, but also it's during the summertime, so you know how much sunlight you can expect as well. Because some people, they really struggle to sleep during the summertime just because there's sunlight all the time, and that can make it kind of difficult for some people to sleep, even with all the fancy blinds put up and everything. So your brain still thinks that it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you need to get up and go do stuff. All right, now this 7th tip that I'm going to give you, that if this is kind of you, then Alaska might be a mistake. Not necessarily, but it might, is if you already have kind of a history of a lot of depression, a lot of mental health issues. Alaska year-round might, you're going to have to decide that on your own. I can't decide that for you. I don't know your background. But do know that Alaska in the wintertime, it gets dark, it gets cold. And if you don't have any plans to go out on vacation, somewhere sunny like Florida, Hawaii, all those good places, then Alaska can be tough. So you need to really make sure that you are planning out ahead and you're being real honest with yourself and saying, okay, I think this is probably going to be something that I'll probably struggle with, at least at some level. And I need to make sure that I have these plans on how I'm going to have a great lifestyle still, even if I'm dealing with these issues during the winter time. I'm going to be leaning into community. I'm going to have these vacations planned so I can get out a little bit and get some sunlight. And if I have to, I'll go talk with some folks to help me work through some of these depression issues. So these are just going to be kind of your basic things you need to be thinking about. If any of these categories pops up for you, it's not necessarily a mistake for you to move up here. There's a will, there's a way. And if your desire to come up here out like trumps all of these, even if you have all of them, then yeah, go for it. So I just want you to be aware that these are here, and I don't want you to be walking into that completely blind and getting some bad surprises along the way. So that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching. Give this video a like, and we'll see you next time.